Okay, we saw the very strong words of the Madiba, Nessie Ruhilala Mandela, foremost fighter against apartheid regime in South Africa. Now late, his words were very clear. To think that your enemies must be my enemy is indeed, you are thinking inappropriately, and that will not work in very sane and civilized society. My name is Iharota. A very wonderful Monday morning. Somehow the weather appeared to change around Abuja and north central states when the rain, after about 5 months, had to drop around. The Hamilton haze appeared to have given way, and the intense heat and moisture environment is making many sweat out very strongly. Now, on our discourse this morning on ITV, one thing that actually came out last week and I had a good time on the social media is the issue of the United Kingdom plans to return Ibori's loot. Some call it Boris loot. Some says Ibori's seized assets. Some says money seized from the former Delta State Governor James Ibori, or James Onanife Ibori, as some prefers to put it, adding color to his native or traditional name here. Now, the controversy is the AGF, Mr. Malami, that's the Justice Minister, is saying that the money upon return from the United Kingdom would be added to the second Niger bridge funds, to actually fund the second Niger bridge, which the government is promising that on the 1st of February 2022, that's about less than a year from now, that particular bridge would be open for travelers. Some are saying that if the government can meet the December deadline when most persons will be going for Christmas, that would be appropriate here. But the government is saying let them look at the 1st of February 2022. But the Delta State government is saying no, that money should be sent to Delta State government, no matter the millions in terms of euro or dollars or pounds. The money should be sent to Delta State government for usage. But there have been so much talk throughout. We had so much conversation. It got to the floor of the House of Reps, got to the National Assembly, and men debated it. But the AGF is sticking to its gun that. Well, the argument in some quarters, some are saying if the money is for Delta State, then the money should be used for Delta State. Some are saying if the money is for Delta State, then the federal government is replying back that the second Niger bridge should not be painted a southeastern thing alone. That the second Niger bridge connects Delta State to the business hub of Onitsha, where everyone from the southwest, southeast, north go to buy goods and everything. So that should be seen as what Deltans will benefit from, not just viewed from the point that it is a southeastern bridge as it is seen. The other argument is that, look, this money is from somebody in Delta State. So if the money is to be returned, Delta State government should get the money from the United Kingdom. So much talk here, but let me leave that out. Whatever the arguments are, we got strong guests to discuss that this morning. We have the Executive Secretary of the Anti-Corruption Network, Honorable Ebenezer Oyetakin, on my immediate right. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
And on my far right here, we have Raka Okoliabo, I've got it, am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct.
Okoliabo, a certified management consultant, maybe, but not the management of the funds being returned here. But let me keep you first on the issue of anti-corruption. Let me start with Mr. Raka here. This whole controversy over who gets the fund and all of that here, what is your take?
First and foremost, you need to begin to look at the historical past.
Okay.
You also need to look at the origin of this fund. We're talking of IFF here, illicit flow of funds. And if you look at the sustainable development goal, you will see that the fight against illicit flow of resources is actually a center of discussion. Okay. Now, these are funds that have been stolen out from Nigeria.
Who told you that? I'm only asking because the State government said no money was missing.
Oh.
You heard that? The former governor Odwanga said no money was missing.
Yes, but that is a subject of debate.
Okay.
But what we're looking at, the recovered funds.
Even the court in Asaba ruled that the money was not stolen. The court in UK ruled that the money was stolen from Delta.
Well, at this point, it is now their words, the word of the court in UK against that of Asaba. But what we're talking is this: there is a recovery of funds.
Fine.
There is a recovery of funds. So let's look at the matter ground, which is the funds recovered. Whose funds is it? bro, it's just like I have my phone stolen. I reported to the police, and the police helped me recover the funds.
Good.
So, what's the next thing? If police help me recover my funds, it's natural that police will call me and say, hey, this is your recovered fund. Now, the British government had looked at it and said, hey, federal government of Nigeria, come, you are the one that applied through your agencies, to put this. Now, if you look at the shared devolution of power, the shares of function of power, there is such thing about the exclusive list. There is such thing about the concurrent list. There is such thing about the residual list. Now, if you look at the powers in the concurrent list, this is a concurrent matter now. Now, federal government is laying claim on this fund, and the state government is laying claim on it. Naturally, if you look at it, this is an allocation of the federal government that went to the state government at a particular time. It is part of the IGR, external generated revenue, from the federal fund to the state fund, and it was taken away from the state.
Are you sure Ibori Camp will agree with you?
I'm saying it's not whether he agrees with me or not. This
because you know, some persons in his camp will not be agreeing with you.
They might stand to disagree with me.
Although
I have my opinion.
The UK court may agree with you, but his family will not agree with you.
I have my opinion.
Good.
They have their perception.
Okay.
From my opinion, the funds belongs to the state government, where it was taken from. It is now left for the federal government to say, okay, we facilitated this fund. We interfaced as consultants with the UK government to repatriate this fund. Now, in as much as the state government is laying claim, we also need to look at the other side of the coin, because every coin has two sides. Now, the federal government on its own has a policy, offshore, it's called offshore voluntary offshore asset regularization scheme, VOAS. So you also need to look at it from that perspective. What is it in those policies? Is it that any funds voluntarily brought in from abroad, offshore, is it going directly to the account of the federal government? So these are things that we also need to look at. You need to look at the both sides of the coin. You look at the thesis, you look at the antithesis, then you look for the synthesis, which is the solution to the problem. So,
okay, let me come to I think the management consultant is taking us through some very intense academic path here, which is very beautiful and very deep here. But from your own position as an anti-corruption crusader, one who have been in the forefront, all of that here, just a brief. The Ibori loot, it broke last week, and the acrimony over who owns the loot.
The truth of the matter is that government is supposed to be a responsible entity. And as a responsible entity that operates based on law and constitutionalism, government should act at all times and behave at all times responsibly. The attitude of the Delta state government towards this recovery has been that of a rascally financial scam venger rather than a responsible government.
Why are you not too harsh?
That is the truth, because just like my friend said, there is a history precedent over this recovery. And we should not forget that there was a court ruling in Delta State that money was not missing. And again, Ibori was absolved of all the charges
in Delta
State. Every attempt made by the federal government through their agency, EFCC, to secure conviction of Ibori with all the evidences they had, the Delta State people were not playing a responsible role as a government to support the EFCC to secure conviction, to the extent that Ibori fled the country. Now, don't also let us forget that there was a case of 15 million naira, which was allegedly used by Ibori to bribe.
Naira or dollar?
I mean dollar, $15 million. Yes, Nuru Ribadu. Then a subsisting court judgment over that case says that that money should be forfeited to the federal government. So a permanent forfeiture. And in around that 2016, when Ibori was released from United Kingdom, both United Kingdom, I think the United Kingdom government, riding upon the judgment, probably of the court, presided by Gabriel Kolawole, which declared that every money recovered from Ibori should go into the federal government account.
Why not Delta State account?
That is in Justice Kolawole said the government of Delta State appeared in that statement. Verbatim, he said it appeared the government of Delta State was protecting Ibori, thereby protecting criminality. Because, as you know, protecting a criminal makes you a criminal.
But they are saying that they have checked the books, checked everything, no money is missing.
That is what we are saying. So if no money is missing and a court judgment have said, paid all recovered loot from this fellow to the federal government account, and you did not appeal that judgment till date, what are we talking about? And I think what they should do is to proceed to court to seek interpretation, and upon which they will meet this subsisting judgment by Kolawole in court.
Okay, I'll ask you if they want to go to court, whether they want to go to court, whether Governor Okowa will want to go to court or not. But let's take a break now. When we come back from the break, we will be going on with the conversation.